Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're going to explore Indian history, but not in the way you might expect.
Definitely not a textbook lecture.
Nope. Think of it this way. Imagine you have this incredibly detailed visual representation of India,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all rendered through henna tattoo art,
Yeah.
like intricate designs all across mountains, rivers, islands, even oceans. It's not just beautiful art. It's like a whole narrative.
It really is. It's fascinating how this piece uses henna as a way to tell the story of Indian history, right?
Yeah.
From ancient times all the way to the present day. Each symbol, each design, they're all placed very intentionally to reflect these huge events, these cultural shifts.
And the evolution of this crazy diverse region, yeah.
Exactly.
So we're not just admiring pretty pictures here.
Not at all.
This is like, we're talking about seeing the echoes of Alexander the Great's influence, the rise and fall of like huge empires, the impact of major trade routes like the Silk Road, and then, the unique things about all the different regions of India.
Exactly. You can think of it almost like a visual language.
Yeah.
And our mission in this deep dive is to try and decode it.
Decipher it.
Because
Right.
by understanding what all this symbolism in the henna art means, we can start to get a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of India's super complex past.
Okay, so this is where you, the listener, come in. I really want you to try to imagine this artwork while we're talking about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Picture those intricate henna designs just sort of flowing across the whole geography of the subcontinent. And, as we're going through this, what really jumps out at you? What connections can you start to make?
Well, I think a great place to start is with the geography itself. The artwork depicts the Himalayas, not just as mountains, but as this dynamic region that's had a huge impact on India's history.
Yeah.
You see these treacherous mountain passes in the art. It makes you think about the movement of people and ideas over centuries. You almost hear the echoes of these ancient travelers and traders.
It's like the artist is showing us how the Himalayas were both this, like, barrier, right? But also like a bridge at the same time. It sort of isolated India, but it also allowed for cultural exchange with Central Asia and even beyond.
Absolutely. And think about those ancient trade routes that snaked through those mountains connecting India to, well, basically the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when you look at the Indo-Gangetic Plain in the artwork, that incredibly fertile region nourished by the Ganges River, the henna patterns there, they become so much denser, more complex. Like they're symbolizing all these empires that rose and fell, constantly fighting to control this crucial land.
It's almost as if you can see the power struggles, right?
Yeah.
And like the rise and fall of these dynasties in the designs.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, how the artwork seems to also contrast the like grandeur of these empires with the persistence of more local traditions. You have these big cities represented with bold geometric patterns, but then like rural areas have these more organic flowing designs, almost like folk art just woven into the bigger story.
It's a fantastic observation. It shows us that these local communities, they held on to their unique identities, their practices, even when these giant empires were around.
Right, right.
And you can really see this when the artwork depicts South India. The henna designs there, they're totally different from the ones up north.
Totally. It's like the artwork is showing us that South India, with its unique Tamil traditions and like all the trade it had with Southeast Asia, really developed its own distinct identity.
Absolutely.
It reminds you that the history of India isn't just this one single story.
Yep.
It's like this tapestry of all these diverse cultures, languages, traditions, all woven together.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And the artwork really captures this. For example, think about the Kushan Empire. It spanned like parts of Central Asia and North India. You can clearly see their influence in the northwest of the artwork.
Yeah, yeah.
And the designs there, they really reflect the Kushan's role in, facilitating trade along the Silk Road. So India was connected to this vast network of exchange and cultural influence.
It's incredible. The artwork even manages to show like the evolution of religious beliefs in India.
Right.
You can almost trace the spread of Buddhism through these little shifts in the henna patterns, like starting in the Ganges Plain and then eventually spreading all the way to Southeast Asia.
And what's really fascinating is how the artwork shows us the interaction between Buddhism and like the religious practices that were already there.
Yeah.
It's not suggesting that Buddhism just erased everything that came before it.
Oh, no.
Instead, you see these layers of henna designs, like visually representing how Buddhism blended with local traditions to create this totally unique mix.
It's like the artists were trying to tell us, hey, these religious ideas, they don't just show up all of a sudden. They change and interact with existing beliefs. They shape the culture, and the culture shapes them.
Exactly. And that idea, that interplay between things staying the same and changing, that's a constant theme throughout the artwork. We see it with how Islamic motifs get introduced when Islam arrives in India.
Yeah. And the artwork doesn't shy away from the complexities of that time period, does it?
It really doesn't.
It shows those super intricate geometric patterns that are like classic Islamic art, right?
Uh-huh.
Intertwining with existing Indian designs.
Yeah.
But it also shows us how these cultural influences sometimes caused conflict.
Exactly. It wasn't just this smooth, peaceful blend.
But
You have the rise of these powerful sultanates, like the Delhi Sultanate, that often fought with the existing Hindu kingdoms. And you see that tension in the artwork. Like different architectural styles are put side by side, the appropriation of symbols, and even in how religious figures and stories are shown.
it's like the artists were really trying to capture like the energy of that period, showing us how cultural exchange can be both harmonious and, cause friction. It can be about both collaboration and conflict.
It's such a nuanced perspective, and it reminds us that history is rarely black and white.
Yeah.
It's this dynamic process full of both cooperation and competition. And this artwork does an incredible job of capturing that. It's incredible, though, this artwork, it doesn't just like tell us what happened. It also gives us these glimpses into how different people, different groups interpreted and remembered these events.
That's a really good point. Like we're getting multiple perspectives on the same event.
Right. Exactly.
It's almost like having multiple lenses.
Yeah.
Take the Mughal Emperor Akbar, for example.
Yeah.
Some of the henna designs, they portray him as this wise and benevolent ruler. They highlight his policies of like religious tolerance.
Right. Right.
But then you see other designs, maybe created by people who didn't view him as favorably.
Yeah.
And they show a completely different Akbar.
Yep.
Like a cunning strategist, a conqueror who built his empire through, military might.
It's so true. And it's a powerful reminder that history is never totally objective. We're always seeing it filtered through someone's perspective, someone's interpretation.
And what I love about this artwork is that it doesn't shy away from that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't try to present just one side.
No.
It embraces all these different perspectives, and it shows us just how rich and complex these historical narratives can be.
Exactly.
It makes you realize that even a historical figure can be viewed in so many different ways.
Absolutely. And that idea of multiple perspectives, it really becomes even more clear when you look at how the artwork depicts the British East India Company.
Oh, yeah.
You see this visual representation of how cultural influence slowly shifted. European aesthetics and ideas start to seep into Indian society.
It's like watching this like slow motion transformation.
Yeah.
You see these traditional henna patterns start to give way to more European-inspired designs. But it's not just a simple story of domination, though, is it?
No, not at all. The artwork also hints at the ways Indians resisted and adapted to those colonial influences.
Yeah.
Creating these like hybrid forms of art, literature, and even political thought.
Reminds me of figures like Rajaram Mohan Roy. He was a social reformer who was really fluent in both Indian and Western ideas. He pushed for social change, like ending sati, advocating for, educating women. But he also engaged with all the big intellectual trends of his time.
It's a perfect example of how cultural exchange can be this two-way street, even in a situation like colonialism. And speaking of narratives that are often kind of overlooked, the artwork also gives us a glimpse into the roles that women played in shaping Indian history.
Yeah, that's so true. Some of the designs might reflect the patriarchal structures of certain eras, but then others showcase women as these incredibly powerful figures.
Yeah.
Like queens, warriors, scholars, artists.
Oh, yeah. We see women like the Chola queen, Sembian Mahadevi. She was famous for her piety and all the temples she had built.
Right.
And then you have Razia Sultana, the only woman to ever rule the Delhi Sultanate.
I mean, think about the courage it must have taken for her to defy all those societal norms and, just assert her authority in this totally male-dominated world.
Yeah.
And the artwork portrays her with this incredible strength and defiance.
It reminds us that women have always been active in history, even if their stories haven't always been told as loudly.
Absolutely. And then we get to the artwork's depiction of the Indian independence movement. It's like the emotional impact of the art just becomes so much stronger.
Yeah. The colors, the symbolism, it's all very striking. Like the artists are trying to capture the energy, the hope of that whole era.
You see these iconic figures, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, all of them rendered with so much detail and reverence. It's clearly a tribute to their leadership and their sacrifices.
It really is. But the artwork doesn't shy away from the, complexities of that period either.
Right.
It acknowledges the divisions, the challenges, even the violence that, unfortunately, marked the struggle for independence.
The depiction of the partition of India and Pakistan, it's especially poignant.
Yeah.
That was such a traumatic event, so much suffering. The artwork uses these somber colors, these fragmented designs, to really reflect the pain and loss of that time.
It's a reminder that even when you have these moments of triumph, you can also have incredible heartbreak and these, lasting consequences.
Absolutely. And then finally, we arrive at modern India.
Yeah.
What strikes me is how the artwork really captures this, tension between tradition and modernity. Honoring the past, but also forging a new path forward.
It's like those henna designs are trying to bridge the gap between those two forces, showing us how modern India really embodies both its ancient heritage and its aspirations for the future.
Yeah, those aspirations are definitely there in the artwork. We see these celebrations of India's achievements in, science and technology, the arts, depictions of modern cities, space exploration, even these vibrant Bollywood scenes.
It's a real testament to how dynamic and creative contemporary Indian society is.
But the artwork doesn't avoid the challenges either, does it?
It doesn't.
There are these areas where the designs feel incomplete or fragmented, maybe representing those ongoing struggles with poverty, inequality, and, issues with the environment.
It's a reminder that progress isn't always this smooth upward climb. It's a process full of both steps forward and setbacks.
But what's so fascinating? Even within those depictions of those modern day challenges, there's this sense of resilience, right? This feeling that India is really wrestling with these issues, trying to find solutions and moving forward.
It's like the artwork is showing us that even with all the complexity, there's a sense of hope, a belief that things can change for the better.
It's amazing, isn't it? We've gone through centuries of Indian history, all guided by these intricate henna designs. We've seen empires come and go. We've seen cultures blend together and sometimes clash. We've even explored the stories of some really remarkable people.
And I think what's really striking is that this artwork, even though it's so rooted in the past, it also gives us this unique way to look at India today, where it stands in the world.
Yeah, those henna designs are telling us not just what happened, but what it all means now for India.
Exactly. So, for example, how do you see the artwork reflecting India becoming, this global power in the 21st century?
Well, the henna patterns themselves, they seem to be telling that story, right? They've become bolder, way more intricate. They've even started incorporating influences from all over the world. It's like a visual representation of India's growing confidence and how it's engaging with these global trends.
I totally agree. But at the same time, alongside all those signs of progress, the artwork also kind of hints at the challenges that India is facing as it navigates this new global landscape.
Yeah, you can see it in those areas where the designs become fragmented or incomplete. Maybe that's reflecting the issues that are still there, like poverty, inequality, environmental concerns.
It's a good reminder that progress isn't always this perfectly straight path.
No, it's not.
It's messy. It's full of contradictions.
And speaking of contradictions, the artwork doesn't shy away from showing those tensions that exist within Indian society itself.
Right. Like those places where you see traditional henna motifs kind of clashing with more modern designs. It's like a visual representation of this debate that's going on about how to preserve cultural heritage while also embracing change.
It's almost as if the artwork is asking us this question. How does a country like India, with its incredible history and traditions, how does it balance those with the demands of a world that's changing so quickly? How do you reconcile ancient wisdom with this drive for, technological advancement?
It's a fascinating question, and honestly, it's not a question that's unique to India. A lot of societies all over the world are struggling with these same things as they evolve.
And that's what I think makes this artwork so powerful. It doesn't try to give us easy answers or a romanticized version of history or even the present. Instead, it invites us to really engage with all the complexity, the contradictions, and, the beauty of India's past, present, and future.
It reminds us that art can be so much more than just something pretty to look at. It can make us think, start conversations, help us understand the human experience across, different times and cultures.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought. Just like the artists who created this amazing piece, you can find history in unexpected places too. Don't limit yourself to just textbooks and museums.
Look around you. A mural in your neighborhood, a craft that's been passed down through generations, even a song, a story. They can all give you these unique glimpses into the past, new perspectives, new insights.
Be curious. Ask questions. Embrace that joy of discovering something new. And always remember, knowledge can be found in the most unexpected places, just waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.